Okay. Welcome to. Oh, it says May 1st.
Oh, that's not the right one. I did this one.
Oh, that's good. That's gonna.
And then we'll do.
Hey, amigo. How you doing?
Hey, Pat. Welcome back.
Thanks.
How you doing? You don't want. Oh yeah. I see what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, look. So it is picking up this
All right, we're live. Is that what you want to show?
screen, probably.
Okay. All right. Okay. Isn't that strange?
I have 3 more of these boxes. I went through each one, did the tongue test. They're all dead.
Where they sell you old batteries?
A whole case of them. So,
Is that rare?
first I've seen in many, many, many years. So, this brings up the question, is there a power backup for those two? Or are they just battery operated? Apparently just battery operated. So,
Well, there's a 48 volt thing.
There's
So
no place to plug it in, is it?
no, I don't know. I don't know what these are.
They look like microphones.
Okay, like
These
minis, yeah. So I don't see how you do the 48
No,
volt.
I don't
But so
either.
far,
Okay, well, that's
can
a
you
whole battle.
send them back?
I'm going to.
So let me. So I don't think we need the whole box. It's like 2 or 3.
Keep them.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen. Thank you for coming over because
You're welcome.
who would have?
I've never had. So, okay, have a good meeting.
A double ring because the second one sounded better. So you've got about 15 minutes to please go and find your lunch, enjoy fellowship, and I will be back to chat with you further. That's a promise and a threat.
That means a lot. I appreciate it.
Let's call for raffle tickets. Get your raffle tickets. Come on over. Pot's over $800.
I only signed up on that sheet.
He was the breadwinner.
Oh, okay. I will try and remember. It's available anytime at PBS.org, KUACP.org, and if you go there, they have a section called Passport. And in Passport, there are multiple sections, series, dramas, and documentaries.
Intervening or the rules are changing. My parents are both in their 80s.
Anytime you want it. Okay, and I'll try to remember to email it to you.
But he lost $1 million.
It means a lot. So many people are trying to watch it. Yeah. Nobody's told me it's awesome. They probably wouldn't. Right. Thank you. Stephanie. I'm fine, thank you.
Beekeeper. Yeah, what is? We're going to talk about beekeeper today. I am. Thank you. Yeah, it's one of my slides. I went and saw it. I saw the preview for it. I was like, oh, I'm going to go see this. Now, I didn't like the vigilante aspect, and I didn't like the disrespect and brutality against law enforcement. But the premise, where you had no sympathy for these cameras. Now, the difference is we take most of these cameras are outside of the country. Because there was something simple that the government has jurisdiction and venue, and we can run. So I think that was accurate. But the point being is, I mean, like, see, you could see Felicia Rashad. She was on the couch. She's sitting on her laptop and telling her virus.
I'm debating whether it's give it up. And it's the best job. Yeah, it's the best job. So I took it. I mean, you get to drive around in the golf cart.
So yeah, so my motivation, every time I hear someone tell me a story, I'm incredibly motivated. Yeah. Even if I'm not, even if I do stuff,
No, I was not.
it's only getting worse, you know. And then even if I transition more to volunteer, that's fine with me. I just like
Where the kid where you did this like cybercrime against
oh, I call it crime.
Was it good?
Oh, I loved it. I've been speaking at universities for years. She just like one class. You know, you do like 2 classes a year. Anybody can fill an hour. You know, when you got to fill, 30 sessions. That's a lot of material. I actually brought in a lot of guests. Every weekend, still ask this question. It was part of my classes. 75% future attorneys. I had no idea. That'd be way more criminal justice majors. And,
No idea.
The IRS did a good job there.
She was here on her 90th birthday.
I never heard of it.
yeah, well, most people don't even know what
I'm now
in terms of federal but no, I mean, just Google my name. Brian Watson IRS, you'll see all kinds of stuff. Brian Watson Rose, you'll see a lot of stuff.
Mine's the easiest.
Last thing I needed.
It's only the second time or the third time it's been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like this one I have down now. I don't even use those. It's much more natural. But before, I always have my crunch just to make sure I hit certain key points. You don't want to miss out. Like you want to finish and be like, oh no, miss my.
Do you get many questions or not? Yeah.
Well, there's questions. Well, I had this happen. No, they don't stick around afterwards.
And they did not know it.
Because there's people here. And if they have it, they members have
Three of us were purposes round
Teens and young people.
exploitation. Yeah, where they get a picture of them naked.
And they need the piece more than ever. Not just embarrassment and introducing it, but getting money. I don't know why they were getting money back then, but now you get pretty much. So that's
Technology is
something I didn't realize.
we pretty much live in time. You know, it also kept us out of trouble. You know, because like you didn't have a phone to videotape your crimes. What's the stuff you did? You know, things were a whole lot harder to get in trouble. That's why one of my slides today is a picture of it. You know, and it's like when that phone rings, that's what gets my generation in trouble.
I had stuff back when I was with I had 60mm film camera. This is the day doing the shot film. And so I used to shoot football games on the sideline just for fun. They could use my film for slow-mo while the regular shot action. And Rod would come like
They are
by October or 7 years, I was on the sideline and I was 8.5 months pregnant.
It's only going to get worse. Today, if I do get I'm not really going to cover AI today because it's not time. But,
I think you know Tom Rochelle. I just heard it talking about from the sidelines when you're videoing.
right now,
And Tom Rochelle, I met him a few years ago, and he
told me that. Every day.
The old days. The dark ages, yes. After this baby thing, I know a number of people.
Because I think people right now are, right? And I mean,
I'm enjoying it.
They're not going to opt in off. Yeah, people seem to
like,
He was really worried for my safety.
Yeah,
But it
understood.
was great because he was so, it was 40 pounds, so
Yeah.
all right there.
Okay.
I had a tripod built in. You just put my elbow there, and I had the greatest.
Oh, my daughter's due to have a baby tomorrow.
Oh, Mazel Tov.
Well, yeah, we're waiting to see.
What happens? Well, is it your first? Her birth, yeah. Your first grandchild?
Well, I don't think of it as that. Yes, biologically speaking. Okay. But my daughter has acquired 3 others from a partner,
Then you
so
have
to me
3.
they're all bonuses.
So you have 3.
I've got 4, I will have 4 bonuses.
where you read a
Fabulous.
paragraph, you can apply to anything. You can apply to any crime. There's no consequences. You have to put just like malls have to have stores.
All right, but let's not go anywhere else.
Nobody else is allowed to participate.
Hey, my wife had lunch with Serrani.
Oh, yeah?
And Rafi, you might know Rafi, maybe not. What used to be our neighbor. Yeah, they're just growing up.
You're up on the dais, so there's so many.
I'm just gonna look down and say, hey. Are you gonna go back maybe Iris?
Oh yeah.
You got that job? Or
Well, it's a very unique job. It's a contract OJM, on-the-job instructor.
is it for agents or just for public?
Oh no, this would be. So I would be doing helping young teachers mature. Yeah, and basically, I had in my career, I had about 10 trainees. So basically, when you're ready to you go ask your coach, be like, all right, we're going to do that. Sit down, strategize. And the whole point is, you're their advocate, you're their cheerleader, you're their sounding board, every one of those things. And you just wean them. It's sort of like being a parent. They're like they're big brother, whatever you want to call it.
Not on our topic. Yeah, I have because I'm CPA by background, interactive CPA. Seniors on seniors, not that.
Yeah.
Followed by correction. Here's your problem. Here's your problem. No. I mean, everyone's split up in different silos. You're only as good as your employees and how well they're trained. And it's a tough job, right? You know, and there's a lot of people that are retired. And, you know, and then you got the whole 87,000 IRS agents. It's just really scary by a lot of outlets. Someone came up with there's one article that traces back. IRS got this they could hire yeah, well, talk about staffing, especially the revenue agents.
The bell has rung and it's time now to actually start the formal meeting. I hope you've been enjoying chatting with everybody. The fellowship is terrific at this club. I'd like to invite Marie de Vries Ross to come up and lead us in the pledge and song. She's been with us since February the 15th, 2024, but I've known her for many, many years longer than that. She's an accountant, she's CPA, private practice. Tax Track is the company, and she was at the University of Arizona. Welcome.
Thank you. Please join with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's Pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Yay, fabulous. Thank you so much.
And now we have the inspiration, and we have Jeff Ronstadt to come up. He's been with us since 2006, and he's a stalwart in our club. And oh, where is Jeff? We have a different version of him. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not saying anything.
When you get a phone call last night and said you're doing this, I say, okay, Jeff, here we go. So this is Jeff's inspiration that he has entrusted me to read. It's truly important to acknowledge and celebrate the diversity among us, our unique talents, aspirations, life experiences, and professions. Each of us brings something distinct to the table, and when we unite these differences, we can harness them for the greater good of our organization, which is Rotary, and our wider community. By embracing diversity, we unlock a wealth of perspectives and skills that can drive innovation, empathy, and effective problem solving. When we collaborate with individuals from varied backgrounds, walks of life, we gain fresh insights and approaches that enrich our collective efforts. Rotary, with its commitment to service above self, thrives on the diversity of its members. Together, we can leverage our individual strengths and passions to make meaningful impacts, whether it's through local projects, international initiatives, or fostering and understanding goodwill. Let us cherish our differences as strengths, fostering an inclusive environment where everyone's voice is valued and where we work together towards common goals. In this spirit, we can truly embody the essence of Rotary's mission and contribute to building a better world. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Jeff. And he did talk about diversity. I think that Jeff and Curtis, while being similar in spirit, are quite different in other aspects. Definitely diverse. Now, what I'd like to do is take 30 seconds, if I may, and with apologies to Curtis, because we did discuss this for the future, but I'm going to do it today. I attended Jack Paris's commemoration service just recently. He was a long-time member of ours. But what they did at the church was something that I want us to do more frequently. I would like every one of you at your table to turn to the next person sitting next to you, and preferably somebody you don't know, and thank them for the service that they give to the community through Rotary. Please, please do that. It's we all need to be thanked, and you do a wonderful job, so please.
I'm good. Thank you.
We should do this more often. Oh, goosebumps. Thank you for that. I do think that we should be thanking each other an awful lot more. And as a community, I thank all of you in Rotary for what you do for our community. And now we have my beloved friend, Dan Calm, to come and introduce the guests. He's been with us since January 2020. He's with State Farm Insurance, and he went to Oral Roberts University.
Thank you, Dr. Margaret.
That's all right, sir.
Well, hello, everybody. We are now in mid-May, and the first 100-day day is getting ready to hit us. I believe it's Saturday is the day. So for all of you that are here that are new members, congratulations. I love all the new faces. We have quite a list of guests that I'm going to introduce today. And if you're here and you're looking for a place to be, a place to make a difference, a place to get involved in the community, a bunch of smiling faces and a lot of fun, I'd invite you to join our club. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you, if you're a guest, and ask you to stand so we can recognize you. So from the Catalina Club, Pat Patton. Pat? All right, guest of Sandra Johnson, Kira Aragon. Guest of Sandra Johnson, Carlos Aragon. I think they're the same person. A guest of Sandra Johnson, Sue Shaw. Sue? Hey, Sue. Guest of Nancy Bevins, Annette Solis. Annette? Guest of Diana Medeiros, Lisa Bates. Guest of Diana Medeiros, Pete Liniger. Pete? Guest of Diana Medeiros, Jack Herring. Wait. Guest of Diana Medeiros, Hubert Parker. Guest of, Diana Medeiros, Buffy Stanley. Guest of Leona Eisenman, Dominic Smith. Dominic? All right. Guest of Matt Blair, TJ Juskowitz. Guest of Jeannie Zeta, Amity Claggett. Amity? Guest of Jeannie Zeta, Debbie Claggett. Debbie? Guest of Jeannie Zeta, Seaton Claggett. And last but not, Jeannie Zeta, Cannon Nakamura. Cannon. And then one last, Mark Stegeman, Colin Waite. Colin? Again, if you're looking for a place to hang out, a good bunch of people and a lot of fun, I'd invite you to talk to one of us. We would love to help you be a member.
I always delight in Dan and what he says to us all. Thank you, Dan. And now it's time for our program, and Pat Zumbush is going to be introducing the speaker. Pat's been with us since 2003, longer than I've been here. Financial advisor, Wellspring Financial Partners. He was at Augsburg College and the U of Chicago. Please, Pat.
Thank you, President Margaret. I'm going to give you our introduction today to our speaker, who's going to talk about scams impacting our society, particularly elderly adults. But let me give you a little context on Brian first. He spent 28 years in federal law enforcement, investigating financial crimes as a special agent with IRS criminal investigation. His primary collateral duty was being a public information officer, warning the public about financially related scams. He retired in 2023 and is now a community outreach specialist for the nonprofit ROSE, which stands for Resources Outreach to Safeguard the Elderly. In addition to the nonprofit job, Brian just finished teaching a course at the University of Arizona titled White Collar Crime. Originally from California, Brian and his family have lived in Oro Valley for 20 years. Today's presentation on financial scams and other matters will be Brian's 40th Rotary speech. Please welcome Brian.
All right, thank you for that introduction, Pat. And one other thing I want to mention, I received a Rotary scholarship 35 years ago when I graduated from high school. So, yeah. All right, so Rose was founded in 2021 by a lady named Joyce Petrowski. She had a family member taken in one of these nasty romance scams, and she was looking for help, and she was struggling to find it. There's a lot of agencies and a lot of law enforcement agencies and nonprofits that are in the business of trying to help people, but they're not on the prevention side. Our main focus is prevention. We want to prevent people from getting defrauded in the first place. And then what I found out in my last 9 months, most of the people on our board have been personally affected by financial scams, targeting a family member, a friend, or a neighbor. And I'm going to tell you some horror stories today, some people that I've met and some large dollar amounts. And I don't do it to scare you, but to make you realize this is getting real, and the losses are huge, and it's tragic. So I like to start with a picture of me from 20 years ago. One, because I didn't have gray hair, but this was at a presentation in Los Altos, California. I spoke to a group of 400 people. I was 32 years old. The newspaper covered it, and my mom was a school teacher in Los Altos, and she clipped the article because that's what moms do. And I went back and read it recently, and what did I talk about at that presentation? I talked about identity theft. Is that still going on? Absolutely. And I talked about the Nigerian email scams. Are those still going on? Yeah, because they work. People fall for it. But looking back 20 years ago, and then over my law enforcement career and my 9 months in the nonprofit world, it was a very naive time back then, okay? First of all, 20 years ago, we didn't have these things in our pocket, okay? These cell phones, smartphones get us into a lot of trouble. And then back then, you didn't have to have a password and a login for every single thing you did. So it's made it a lot easier for the criminals. And let me just tell you this. Over the last 20 years, we are dealing now with ruthless financial predators. They are very organized, they're criminal gangs, they're well-financed, a lot of them are in other countries, and they will literally take every penny you have. They don't care. Back in the old days, they were very disorganized, easy to spot. You might lose a few $1,000s. We're talking now life savings type losses. All right, so I'm a numbers guy. Pat and I were talking about it, both being CPAs. Numbers don't lie. They tell us things. This is from the FBI's Elder Fraud Report 2023. That last column, over 60, older adults, lost $3.4 billion. And I guarantee you that number is much higher because people don't report being victimized. The year before, 2022, it was $3.1 billion. It's only going up. And then to localize it, here's the top 6 states by losses. Arizona, we're number 6. Well, nothing to be proud of. 128 million. Last year, it was 82 million. It's gone up tremendously. And then here's the, actually, I'll go back. The problem with this slide here, states 1 through 5 are all in the top 6. Arizona, we're number 6 in losses, but we're 14 in population. So we're taking the brunt. We're taking more than our fair share. The criminals know there are a lot of victims here that they can get. So here's an infographic that I like to use. It's called Anatomy of a Scam. One of our people on our advisory committee, he created this just to help you realize that almost all scams that we're dealing with today follow this pattern, a 3-part pattern. You get contacted out of the blue. Phone, email, text message, social media. And if you think about it, most of those we didn't have 20 years ago. And then they're not calling to say hi. They're calling to put you on an emotional roller coaster, giving you a compelling reason to act. Your grandchild's in jail. Your social security number has been compromised and it's going to be shut off. Your bank account's been closed. Or you've won the sweepstakes. So they get you all riled up. You make bad decisions when you're stressed or excited. And then scammers scam. And scammers want money. That's why the third part is the green. They're going to request payment. Crypto, that's your Bitcoin. Gift cards, Zelle, PayPal, or wire transfers. Once again, these are things that were not available 20 years ago. And with the scammers, do they ever say, think about this over the weekend, talk to your attorney or CPA, and get back to me? No! They will keep you on the phone while you're driving down to Walmart to buy that prepaid gift card to pay off some bill. So if you can just remember this anatomy of a scam, if anybody wants it, I'll email it to you. I have my cards up here. Send me an email, say I want the infographic on anatomy of a scam, and I'd love to share it with you. All right, so I'm going to review some of the just classic scams. Phishing is the most common, and that's basically an email. This is one I received a month ago from Xfinity, and I started to fall for it because it was written so well. But I didn't click on the button that they provided, because if you hover over that button, see at the very bottom that really long website, that's where it's trying to trick you. You cannot click on links. If I had clicked on that link, that's the website I'd go to. Bad stuff. They're going to get your personal information or put malware on your computer. And then look where it's coming from. Some other random website up in the upper right. That's the most prevalent scams are just the phishing emails. And then if it comes from text messages, it's called smishing, short message service. That is not the postal service. Do not click on that link, okay? You just cannot click on that link. And then Pat and I were talking about the beekeeper beforehand. In show of hands, did anybody see the beekeeper? Okay, quite a few, all right. So I'm not a big Jason Statham fan. Some of his movies are a little over the top for me. And the beekeeper, I didn't like the vigilante aspect of it and the disrespect of law enforcement. But I went and saw it in January because the whole premise of the movie was a friend of his gets taken in a tech support scam. And I don't want to ruin the movie, but it was a tragic ending it was really tragic. But you could see why his character was so passionate to go after the bad guys. In the movie, something like this popped up on the computer screen for his friend. Warning, your computer may be infected. And she made the mistake of calling the number provided. Well, why is that a mistake? Well, that's a number that the scammers are providing. And you call them up and they'll say, well, you're going to lose all your photos. You need to act now. And basically, they got remote access to her computer. And remote access is basically letting a criminal sit in your chair in front of your computer and have access to all your financial information. If you get a tech support scam pop-up like this, in the upper right corner, you can hit the X. You can do a Control-Alt-Delete. You can turn your computer off. Or like I have a 20-year-old son who's an MIS major at U of A. I would just have him help me, okay? But that's why we always have backups to our computers. You can always turn that computer off. So I met this lady here, my new friend Connie. I did a presentation in Oro Valley in March at the police department. It was a really awesome joint event. We had 50 people, and she walked up to me after the event and said, my name's Connie. I was scammed. It's affected me tremendously in a lot of ways, in a bad way, and I want to tell my story. Well, I have a background as a public information officer, so I know how to do TV, radio, print, and I reached out. And I first had her, had her talk to J.D. Wallace at KOLD 13, and J.D. did a great job. She told her story, how she was sitting in front of her laptop, just like that, email from McAfee, saying they've upgraded her account. If you don't want it, this extra $20, you need to call us and let us know within 24 hours. Sound like anatomy of a scam? She did, and she said they were pushy and bossy and got her mind going in all kinds of places. They eventually tried to return money to her, the $20, but they did it via remote access. Once again, where a little pop-up on the screen, she said yes, and all of a sudden it said $20,000. The tone of the call was, all of a sudden was, you need to pay that back now. And they kept her on the phone, had her drive down to a Circle K. She, after withdrawing money from her bank account, she was feeding cash into a Bitcoin ATM. Connie lost $35,000. And, I actually did a radio show with her at KVOI on Friday morning. And she said something very interesting. She said, I've forgiven myself now. Because that's what I learned with these scams is, money's money. It hurts. And that $35,000 also came out of, most of it, a home equity line. So she's also paying interest on it. But it was affecting her health, her mental health. How many of you grew up with a phone like that at one time or another at your house? Okay. I had a yellow phone just like that. That phone had no caller ID, no call waiting. We didn't have an answering machine. If that phone rang, we answered it, yes, okay? And that's what gets my generation and older in trouble. Most of these scams are not that complicated. The people doing it are just really good at it. They're reading scripts, and they've honed their skills, and they're just really good talkers. So that tech support scam can also come in the form of a phone call. My friend's mother-in-law here in town was at home one day, and Norton called saying, we owe you $300. And they wouldn't write a check, and they wouldn't credit her account. They said, you have to request it. So once again, they did that remote access. A little thing popped up on her screen. She was instructed to type in 300. Well, on her screen, it went 30,000. And the tone of the call went a complete different direction. They were yelling at her, threatening to arrest her, threatening to send the police. And she found herself at her bank wire transferring $30,000 to a bank account in Hong Kong. She's not getting that money back. And once again, a very smart person, Everyone I've met has been very smart that's been scammed. But you cannot give remote access to anybody. I also met a lady up in Phoenix. She heard me do a podcast up in Phoenix. She called in. She lost $200,000 in a crypto scam. It's basically 80% of her life savings. She got a phone call saying, someone's trying to steal your money from the bank. You have to act quickly. The bank's in on it. Don't call them. They convinced her to feed $200,000 over 13 times into a Bitcoin ATM, and they took it all. And if you look up this story, it's at Arizona's Family. This reporter is Susan Campbell. the lady Sue, not her real name, contemplated suicide. She was just going to take all of her sleeping pills, and she didn't. And she was so brave, like Connie, to go tell her story, because people are embarrassed, you know? No one wants to brag or even tell anyone that they've been victimized in a scam. But this crypto scam is the latest way they're doing it. Remote access and crypto scams. And just to show I'm not picking on older people, Andy Cohen's basically my age. He's the guy who did Real Housewives. There's a really good interview on the Today Show from either earlier this year or late last year where he talks about getting scammed and how impressed he was by the scammers. So that's your homework if you want to look that up. Grandparent scam, pretty common. I met a man up on the northwest side. He's my friend's father. He was sitting at home one day. He got the call. Young female voice, Grandpa, I'm in jail. Don't call, don't, you know, they're holding me because my friend had drugs. He ended up wire transferring $15,000. And he told me, Brian, as soon as I sent that money and hung up, I knew I'd been had. Why? Because he's a very smart man. Was he in his 80s or is he in his 80s? Yes. Smart man, lives on his own with his wife, handles his own finances, but he loves his granddaughter and he'd do anything. And these scammers are that good. They're just incredibly good at what they do. And then, so you sit there and say, well, I don't have, you know, 100,000 or 200,000. I'm not too worried. Well, the criminals will use you as a money mule, not a drug mule, but they will befriend someone online, usually in the romance scam, which we're going to talk about in a second, and they'll just use you to move the money to hide their transactions. That 15,000 I just mentioned in the previous scam, they traced it to a lady in Indiana, and she was a money mule. So we actually, when I was with the government, we would actually go out and talk to people who we suspected of being money mules and told them to cut it out. The lottery sweepstakes scams, it's a real deal. Across the street at the U.S. Attorney's Office, my former colleagues prosecuted about 10 people coming out of Jamaica, telling them they'd won, they were telling victims they'd won the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. And I knew from sitting in on part of the trial, or trials, they were only calling people who were 80 years and above, because they figured that was their best chance of making money. I met a man at that Oro Valley presentation in March who lost $300,000. He thought he'd won the $10 million. He showed me pictures of the check, and they kept stringing him along, and I had to tell him, sir, it's a scam, and he was a broken man. The last scams I want to finish with today are the romance scams. You know, they have nothing to do with love. I met a lady on Monday here in town. She lost $50,000. She was divorced. Her friend encouraged her to go onto a Christian dating site. That's where the scammers troll. They're just like sharks looking for victims. There was a really good story on CBS Sunday Morning talking about a lady who ended up drowning, and it's a long, convoluted story about her getting involved in a romance scam. I met a lady up in northern Arizona who lost $700,000 in a romance scam, and I'm going to explain how it happened. And I thought she wasn't going to all be there when I talked to her, but no, super smart lady, published author, and she told me, she said, Brian, right at the end, I knew I'd been had. And she said, my deceased husband has got to be rolling over in his grave. She's a very smart woman, okay? Because the romance scams, you know, they say you never meet them in person, and they say, I can't visit you, but I want to. Can you send me some money because I'm a missionary, I'm in the army, I'm work on an oil rig, you know, all these different excuses. But they're really, really good. But now it's evolved into something called pig butchering. And you're like, what the heck is pig butchering? It's basically a romance scam combined with investing in crypto. The lady that lost the $700,000, she thought she was investing in crypto with her boyfriend, but there was no underlying investment. But it's called pig butchering because it emanated out of China, and you fatten up the pig. The pig is the victim. And then once they've invested all their money, they go in for the financial slaughter. So that's what pig butchering is. Look it up. It's heartbreaking. All right, I scared you a little bit. I want to send you home with some common sense tips, okay? Beware of your emotions. Time is your friend. You got to take a break. Turn off the computer, hang up the phone, go out for a walk. You have to break that control the criminals have. It can happen to all of us. The scams, they're going to contact all of us, okay? And smart people fall for scams. It has nothing to do with your intelligence. And we are not dealing with your father's scammers anymore. We're talking the next level, super organized criminal gangs, okay? And if you think, oh, it won't happen to me or my loved ones, that is not a plan, okay? Just the fact that you're here today listening, you are doing a little scam prevention. But I'm going to give you some more ideas. I write an article for the Green Valley News, which I absolutely love, and I've written 7 of them. That first one is sort of the anatomy of the scam, and then the one at the bottom is financial planning must include scam prevention. I have a friend who lost $1 million recently in a scam. That money's gone. So his trust, his estate planning, it means nothing now. So you have to have some scam prevention. So what I encourage you all to do, we have a free email that we send out once a month. I have some flyers here and my cards. The flyers, the little postcards have information how to get to our website. Sign up, get this free email, great conversation starters. My mom and dad who are in their 80s, they get the same email once a month. We can talk about it without me threatening their intelligence. We're also on Facebook and LinkedIn. We have a podcast. Once again, this little postcard up here mentions all these things. The Green Valley Scam Squad has a great weekly email. Sign up for that. That's good scam prevention. So does the BBB, Southern Arizona Better Business Bureau. And then Bill, the guy that did the infographic, says it costs money to give away free information. We're a very lean outfit. We have 1 employee. Joyce works for free. I work about 5 hours a week at this. We would love financial support. People don't love signing up and giving money to fraud prevention because it's hard to quantify, until it happens to someone you know. I do $15 a month because I believe it's important. And if you have any ideas or suggestions for me, I'd love to hear them. Talk to me afterwards, grab my card. I'm constantly learning, getting better at this, keeping up to date, so I'd love any ideas or suggestions. And then if you remember the show Regis, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Regis? If you didn't know the answer, one of the options was to have that phone a friend. Who is your phone a friend? Okay? If you're not sure about something, who's your phone a friend? And is there someone where you could be their phone a friend? A neighbor, relative, someone like that who you could be their phone a friend? Because what I've learned is we cannot eliminate scammers. We can only dry up the pool of potential victims. Thank you. I'd love to answer some questions. Perfect.
Hi there. Thank you for the presentation. I've been in the securities business for 42 years. I've never had anybody that I've ever heard of or had happen to get money taken out of their account without them knowing about it. But bank accounts, for some reason, my mother had it. They were taking out $300 a month, and she finally caught on. Bank accounts, and I had one just the other day where a client lost money out of their bank accounts. How come they're so easy to extract money, but the securities business, they can't do it? Well, what's the difference here?
Yeah, I don't know. I know if it's a credit, cards are always better than debit cards because you can reverse it. But if you're just talking a bank account, if it is that easy, I would go to another bank, because not all banks are the same. And, you have to watch your bank account constantly. Usually where I've seen them being compromised, it's usually the victim falling for a scam. I'm not real familiar with situations where the money just disappears without their knowledge. But no, talk to me afterwards. I'd love to hear more of the specifics.
Actually, no questions, 2 comments, but you might want to comment on them. One is most of us don't answer our cell phones if we don't recognize them, but sometimes you do. And I've gotten to where I answer the phone by going, hello? And part of it is because with AI is they're recording your voice, and so therefore they can get your grandkid or your spouse or whoever to call you on the phone, and it sounds like your spouse. So that's one. And the other one I want to mention is, and you've heard me talk about this years ago, if you're doing anything involved in a real estate transaction, pay attention to all the literature that the title companies send you about scamming. I do know of an instance less than a month ago, somebody was buying a multi-million-dollar house. They ended up wiring $2 million to the scammer. The real irony of this is they actually got it recovered, which is very, very, very rare. So I don't know if you want to comment on either.
No, I'm very familiar with the title fraud where they try to intercept the money going into escrow, or that's a big problem. And here's the thing with AI. I didn't really cover it today because we're limited on time. AI is at its worst right now. Okay, it's only getting better, which is scary. It's really, really scary. Time for one more. This question.
Okay. It looks like, is there a question or not?
Yes.
Could you talk about, especially on the romance scam sides, tools like Intellius, Spokio, been verified?
I've heard of those. I'm not real familiar with them. What exactly are they?
They're public records database search engines. So if you have the person's email, phone, or first and last name, it's a subscription-based service, but you can enter it in and get a report. And it will tell you, for example, if the phone number that you've been given is assigned to a different name, if it's a landline instead of a cell phone.
Right, right.
And if the person's legit, you're going to see all the public. I mean, it's worth paying for it and just put your own name in there just to see how much information is out there about you and what the data brokers have.
Oh, all our information is out there. I mean, I've been on the dark net, which is a scary place, and with all the data breaches that we've had nationwide, all of our information's out there. So that's why it's important to monitor your credit, look at all your bank accounts constantly, look at your credit cards. I tried to take $1,000 from my dad by accident because our bank accounts are connected, and I ended up using some of his money to pay my car payment, and he caught me. He's like, someone took $1,000 from me. And I'm like, the bank says it could be you. And he goes, you wouldn't do that. I go, well, actually, Dad, I toggled the wrong bank account when I paid that extra payment. But I was so proud of my dad because he found that $1,000. But with the phone numbers, the scammers can spoof anything. And that lady that I talked to on Monday who was dealing with this romance scammer, he had dozens of phone numbers. And they can change them, they can spoof them. It's unbelievable. One more?
One more quick question.
Okay, over here.
With a quick answer.
So my mom lived by herself, was bored, and she would fill out sweepstakes every day and send them a check for $20 or $30 to enter, which is illegal. She'd get hundreds of them a month, and she'd fill them out. And we went to the post office. This is federal fraud. And they would do nothing. Is that different now?
Really? Wow, I had lunch with the postal inspector yesterday. I'll have to ask him. Yeah, I'll give you my card. Okay. Let me follow up with my friend at Postal.
Well, my mom's gone now, but I'm just hoping it's better. But one more thing. So we reported the fraud, and one day I got a phone call because I started taking all her calls because she would just give out her information. And this person said, I'm with Department of Economic Security. I understand you're being defrauded. And I said, yes, we've been trying to get somebody to help us. And they said, please verify all your information so that we can help you. And I'm like, how about if I call you back?
There you go. And that's the way to verify. If a bank calls you, don't trust them. You hang up and say, I'm going to call from a verified number. You get your ATM card or your credit card. You flip it over and you call that verified number.
And
you did the right thing.
Yeah, they hung up on me.
So. But they're getting really good. Exactly. Amen. So thank you.
In full transparency, let's get over embarrassment. First of all, I want one of you to be my phone buddy so I can call. But the oil rig scam, I didn't fall for it, but it was there. The Xfinity scam last week, I was about to click everything and I thought, I think I'll call Xfinity. Didn't get me. And I was actually at Target about to buy credit cards a few years ago for the credit card scam. And the person at the other end kept saying, put me on silent. I don't want anybody else to hear me what I'm saying. Of course, I ignored them. And a Target person came up to me and said, that's a scam, because they could overhear it. So I was thinking to myself afterwards, now, why would I, a reasonably intelligent person, fall for the credit card scam? I didn't, but almost. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, out of how many people on the planet? 7 billion. If they called me, it must be legit. You know, because why would they get to one person out of 7 billion? So there must be some truth to this. That was my realization. Wrong, but that's how I rationalized it. So in full transparency, I've been almost hit 3 times to my knowledge, which is scary, and I'm just one person. So thank you for warning us. No, and thank you very, very much. I mean, we really do appreciate it. And we have a book for you to sign. Hang on. Got to find it. Excuse me. It's called, I love it, How to Babysit a Grandpa. I hope there's something in there about babysitting financially. So I'm going to ask this book to be signed, and it goes into our Make Way for Books library. Yeah, we here in Rotary, we support local literacy through our reading, mentoring, coaching program, and Make Way for Books. And David Lovett, whom I haven't seen today here, he's the president of Make Way for Books. So sign, and that will be put in the library. Thank you so much. Does anybody feel a bit scared about this? I was a bit scared when I saw the web link at the bottom, which was HTTPS, and I've always been told if there's an S on there, it means it's secure. Well, I've just been told it's not, so, right, fine. Scary deals. And as for how you answer phones, Bruce, I'm going to do something similar. I will disguise my accent. Yeah, I know, nice try. And now, having heard this and being a bit scared, we're now going to go on to something that's a bit more cheerful. Happy birthdays. So we've got a happy birthday to Nina Trasoff. May the 15th was her birthday. Well, coming. Actually today. Woo-wee! And she's been with us since 1991. She's into consulting. Nina Trasoff and Associates, and she was at Indiana University. And we all like to know something unusual about somebody. So what you might not know about Nina, she's a dancer. I think we all know that. She's a correspondent, but she's also a faker. A faker, F-A-K-E-R, not I-R. Yes, she can speak 4 languages, and she can fake another one. We've got to hear which one that is. Nina.
Thank you, Margaret. I'm going to fake my age. I decided that at this age, that I'm no longer going to tell you how old I am. I'm going to add my digits together. So today is my 15th birthday. Okay, so y'all can figure that out. I might tell you at the end. I want to thank Drew Vactor, who brought me in, and I am so honored to be part of this club. I love it. I joined it for business reasons when I was had just started out in my business 2 or 3 years in, but I've stayed because of the friendships, and I've stayed because of what we do for this community and the role we play, and it's just very gratifying. Asa Bushnell, for the old-timers in here who remember Ace, Ace tried to bring me in 2 years earlier in the first wave of women, when women were first allowed to, this is such fun to see all these women out here, but when women were first allowed, but back then you had to be in business for at least 3 years, and it was even more strict for women. So I came in the second wave with Carolyn Emery and Katie Dusenberry, and I'm the last standing, so I'm the oldest broad of this club, and I'm proud of it. Let's see, I've already given my check over there, and it's for my 5th grandsons to finish his Paul Harris Fellowship. So I have 5 grandsons with Paul Harris Fellowships. Let me see, well, there was something, Okay, so anyway, I love being part of this club. Thank you all. Happy birthday to me, and my 15 is 78. Oh, I know, wow.
A grandpa from a few years ago, 78, or a grandma from a few years ago, 78, would not look like Nina looks like now. No way. After the happy birthday and meeting the faker, now we've got an introduction of a new member. So Marianne Freitas, she was a prior club president. She's been with us since 1994. She was in swimming pool construction. She's retired and she went to San Jose State. So here we go, Marianne.
Thank you, President Margaret. It's my pleasure today to introduce Marianne DeVries Ross. She spells her name like mine, but she goes by the nickname Mary, M-A-R-I, instead of Y. So when you see her name on the badge, you know how to pronounce it. She's a sister of our beloved deceased member, Mike DeVries, I'm sure you all know. Mary was born in New York, one of 7 siblings in her family. They moved here when she was 17. She did not attend South Point, but she did graduate from CDO and then the U of A, so she earns points there, where she achieved her BSBA in accounting and MIS. She served as president of the Arizona State Board of Accountancy, a governor-appointed position regulating all CPAs in Arizona from 2004 to 2009. She was a member of the Board of Examiners of the National, this is a long one, AICPA in 2009 to 2016, and from 17 to current, she's a leader organizing delivery of meals to those in need for her church. Mary's married to Bill Ross and is a stepmom to 2 children. You undoubtedly saw Bill or have seen Bill at our car show in the past. He works at the field vendor check-in, greeting our field vendors and helping them place them on the field. Mary also volunteered to take over for me this year, overseeing the car show raffle drawing as the supervising team leader. Yay. She's going to train today, or this year. Numbers are Mary's expertise, which she has applied to her occupation as a CPA. She currently works for Tax Tract Incorporated, where she does accounting and taxes. She also currently does the accounting for our club foundation. Yay. Something you need to know about Mary. She used to sing in a rock and roll band. So maybe we can get a performance. Please stand and welcome our newest member, Mary Ross.
Hi there. I just wanted to say thanks so much for all the welcomes that you've given me. It's just been so nice to be a member here. Although I will say that I was a little hesitant at the beginning of joining because, as in the words of Groucho Marx, I wasn't sure that I'd want to join a club that would have me as a member. So anyway, but thank you so much.
And now we have Jim Murphy, a blue badge presentation. While we're waiting for a microphone, I will just tell you a joke. I like to fill in. All right, okay. No,
I'm running.
No, hold on to it.
There you are.
Jim. Shh.
Tell the joke anyway.
I'm waiting. If you don't pay your exorcist, you can get repossessed. Yeah.
It's too bad we had time for that. Fa, Satan, and if you don't know Fa, her name is spelled F-A-H, has a long history with Rotary through her father's participation in Rotary for many, many years in Thailand and her youth exchange opportunity in Ohio. Fa has an MBA in Business Administration and Marketing, and her husband, Will, is a graduate student at the U of A. She has been extremely active since joining us last September. She worked at the car show. She sold tickets for this year's car show at the rodeo, 4th Street Fourth Avenue Street Fair and 3 other locations. She has joined the Whiskey Fellowship. Thought you'd enjoy that one. And she's helping Jean with the student exchange. So let's celebrate Fa's new blue badge. Give me a red one.
Thank you.
Welcome, Fa. Fabulous. Blue badge. Thank you. And now we have something very, very special. I'm going to invite Sandra Johnson up to the stage. It's the 4-Way Test Award presentation today. This is dear to my heart because for the past X years I've been running this. Sandra, welcome.
The 4-Way Test is an award that is given to a non-Rotarian. And as you can see, the 4-Way Test, is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better relationships, friendships? And will it be beneficial to all that are concerned? It's the highest honor we can give to a non-Rotarian, and today we get to honor someone. I would like to thank the committee that helped with the selection, but at this time I would like to invite Diana Medeiros to the podium.
I'd like to introduce my good friend and someone I admire extremely, Lisa Bates, who is the director of the Tucson Wildlife Center. And I have to apologize, Lisa. I got you here under the premise that I was getting an award, and you are actually getting the award.
Oh my God. Oh, no, that's sneaky. That was a scam.
It was a scam, yes. And Lisa, I feel bad, she even brought me flowers. But let me tell you why we're giving Lisa this award. I met her almost 25 years ago when she started the Tucson Wildlife Center, and she was out back working in her shed on an animal, and I believe she was doing surgery. And she has worked tirelessly for 25 years doing this work for no compensation. She's been the director for 25 years and never taken any compensation. Tucson Wildlife Center rescues, rehabs, and releases animals, and it's the only one left in southern Arizona. And I'm talking from border to border to border. 11 other wildlife rescues have gone under. So this puts a lot of pressure on Tucson Wildlife Center, and they now take care of 4,000 animals a year. She has developed this property from the shed out back to a full facility with a state-of-the-art hospital. And she donated her home and the land, and she moved off property to the center. So she is truly one of Tucson's heroes, and I'm very proud that she's won the Rotary 4-Way Test Award.
Thank you, Diana. This is a huge privilege and shock. My grandfather and father and family have been from Tucson since 1936, all members of Rotary, CPAs, ranch accounts, everything. So Rotary's always been special in our family. But I had no idea that this was going to happen. So I think the award should go to Diana for the 4-Way. She's been instrumental in helping Tucson Wildlife Center as a philanthropist, as a supporter, and getting our name out there so we could get the community to support us because we are a nonprofit. So I can't thank Diana enough for rigging this situation today. So I'm very proud. Thank you.
I have to let you know that Diana obviously can't get it because it wasn't the truth, was it?
That's
She
right.
lied.
She can't get it.
That's right. And I just want to tell you how much Lisa loves animals. When she was, how young were you? She had a javelina baby that lived in her bedroom with her. How old were you?
Oh, I think I was 12, but I've learned that you don't do that. Oh, this is absolutely gorgeous.
Let's get a picture. And her staff came with her, and they said, you know, we never know if Lisa's going to show up, because if there's an animal injured on the road, she will stop and she will take it back to the hospital. So we were all a little nervous till we saw the whites of her eyes. Thank
Well,
you, and congratulations.
Thank you. If I can say, I'm retiring. We have 31 employees. How many volunteers? About 60. It's about $1 million budget, 860,000 of that going to the employees. So we have a big outfit that handles every little animal out there, and I thank all of you guys for this and for supporting our center, and Diana. And I don't know if you guys remember, Diana had me up here 5, 6, 8 years ago, and we did the tranquilizer gun at the dart at the Target. Do you remember? Was anybody here?
2 years ago, but that's okay.
2 years.
Yeah.
Feels like forever.
And I would also like to shout out to Pete Leininger, her husband, who was in this project with her all along.
Thank you. What an honor. Thank you so much. It's something that's to be valued.
Well, wasn't that lovely? It was really nice. Dan is here again. And now it's the raffle time and something else.
So I have to say that about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, we had a javelina that crawled up on our front porch and was badly injured. And we called your wildlife center. They came and tranquilized it, brought it back to health, and released it back in the neighborhood where it now routinely attacks my garbage. It's really good. What a scam. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I need a ticket picked. All right, so the small pot this week is $70. Ticket number 447 649. 447 649. Yay! All right, and since it's Nina's birthday, I'm gonna have her pull the card and see if you win the big pot, which is $830. 8 of diamonds. No winner on that one. Sorry. There you go.
I'd like to ask Dan to stay here for a minute. I think I'm right, Dan. Is this the last time you're going to be Sergeant at Armings?
This year, yeah.
This year? Okay. Well, he's been such a wonderful person. I don't want him to forget about us. So I didn't want to give him a bouquet of flowers because the flowers would die. So he's got a bouquet of things that he can take home and stick in his garden. Just because, why not? But I wanted to have a bouquet. He's going on a long motorbike ride.
RV trip this time.
Oh, RV trip, sorry. He might get bored, so I've got him some art posters to paint. I looked for bees, but sadly he got aliens instead. But since I was an alien, he can paint me. And because it might be hot where he is, I got him a little fan that he can sort of hold in front of his face, put some water in. And if he's on his motorbike, he can... You can do that. So you've given me much pleasure over this year.
Thank you very much. Thank you much for having me.
A bouquet of windmills, brightly coloured, and Dan is bright. Announcements. Okay, fine. The first one is look on your tables. You'll see events and the projects, and also on the website, and running slides there. Next thing is the social mixer, May the 29th at the Eddy Hotel. And that's just north of River on Campbell on your east side. It's a new hotel, and every time I drive past, I think fabulous. Okay, there you go. You have to register. And next, we've got Diana Medeiros back up here. You're back up. You've got to talk about the service project, April winner. She forgot. All right, we forgive her. She had so much else on her mind. Lying to people, scamming them to get them up here.
Yeah, better be nice to me, Margaret. I would like to announce, unfortunately, she's not here, the winner of our April service projects, and that is our very own Charlotte Harris. None more deserving. So she'll get her $50 Fox restaurant card the next time I see her. Or does anyone see Charlotte soon?
Certain people might.
Who's? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just grab the card for me then.
That's fabulous. Shah does so much for us. It's nice to know that she's getting something in return, we could say. Thanks, Diana. Nancy Bevans. Nancy? There you go, Nancy.
Back here. Okay, I have taken over selling the Rotary work shirts and caps. So I've got Nancy's little shop of Rotary merch back here. So if you're a new member, these are the shirts you need to be wearing when you go out to sell the tickets, and everyone's going to be wearing their shirts during the car show. So if you don't have one already, or maybe you want to, come on back. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that. Great, Nancy, thank you. And now Jeannie Zita. If you don't run, I'll tell another joke. And that will not go down very well.
Run, please, run.
Oh, Dan.
I'm doing my best. I almost knocked the stairs over. So I'm very excited to share with you and to introduce Canon Nakamura, who you've all met way back on the first week of August when she was new to the USA. She had come here from Japan, from Totori, West Japan, which was her sponsoring group. We've actually already done the exchange of flags, but I just want you to know how pretty theirs is, and ours is too. And we're excited about that. But at any rate, Canon has been a wonderful, she had just turned 17 when she got here. She opened up her hearts to her host families, to the community, to the people at school, and has just really gotten into the community, and we're so thankful she's been with us this year. She leaves to go back to Japan on Monday, so we'd like to now turn it over for Canon to share her presentation with you.
Thank you. Hello. Hi. First of all, I would like to thank you to the Rotary Club of Tucson for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. So first, I would like to briefly introduce myself. I am one of this year's exchange students, and I'm from Japan. My host family suggested I started with a joke, but I was really too nervous to do so, so I will be just honest. And I am almost 18 years old now, but I am still very insecure teenager who is very uncomfortable speaking in front of people. And my hobbies is reading, and I also like listen to radio. Next slide, please. And second, I'm going to talk about Japan a little bit. My school is in Totori, which is the western part of Japan. My home is northern part of Japan. They have snow, but it's not crazy cold. So I'd suggest you to go to Japan during the winter. Thank you. Next slide, please. And third, I would like to talk about my host family. Yay. Please look at the two pictures. They are two families who took care of me this year. Let's check the details. Next slide, please. So Mr. Jim Bushnell, who is sitting there, is a very practical person and a great cook who is like cycling and beer and the mashed potatoes. Yeah, and the Miss Mary Lou is always smiling and likes playing tennis. And she is a neuropsychologist with cool work clothes. Their son Noah is a hard worker with a good math skill, and he has also good muscles. Next slide, please. Yeah. This is the Winterlord family. Miss Christy Winterlord is a very kind of person who suggests fun things to do. And she listens to any music, but she doesn't listen heavy rock. Mr. Mike is the funniest person who is the funniest joke, and he is cool firefighter. So, as you all have just seen, I love and respect them very much for their hospitality. Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Yeah. I still have some. Can I keep going?
Can you keep going for 30 seconds more?
No. Thank you. I'm going to talk about school a little bit. I attended the Island Village High School. It was fun. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I'm so tough. I should have given her another 5 minutes, shouldn't I? Sorry, but it was a lovely talk.
Okay, I have two slides. But the slides. The slides after hers. I just wanted to again say thank you to the two host families, to the Bushnells who are here. Thank you so much for coming. To the Wintroads who were not. Oh wait, that's not the. Yeah. No, wait a minute. That's last year's slide. I am sorry, that totally goofed up. I could have sworn I had it right. But the Wintroads, who are the other host family, had work conflicts and couldn't be here, but they also thoroughly enjoyed hosting Canon this year. And the next slide, I just want to let you know, Kaoru Amano is our incoming student from Japan this coming year. We have found him a host family, and he is now enrolled at Sabino High School. So we are now looking for 2 more host families for the second and third parts. So there are handouts on your tables. And then Amity Claggett, could you just stand really quick, Amity? She will be our outgoing student to Japan next year, and her parents, Debbie and Seaton, are here with her, and you'll get to hear more from her later. Thank you.
The Bushnells, are you related to Asa or not? No, okay, fine. He was one of our long-term members and he inducted me into this. Right, what a wonderful day it's been. I want to thank all of you and our virtual guests for coming today, and hope you enjoyed the meeting, including my jokes. And if we weren't running out of time, I'd taunt you with a few more, but I'll save them for next time. Please make a donation if you can to our University of Arizona and Pima Community College scholarship students. They're the blue mugs on the table, and particularly guests donate in that way if you can, because the members, we donate in different ways virtually, but you're here, cups in front of you. I hope to hear the money tinkling in. Happy birthday to Nina, forever known as the Faker. Welcome to the club, Mary. And congratulations, Far, on your blue badge. Where are you sitting, Far? There you are, right in front of me. Congratulations to our 4-way test winner. Absolutely fabulous, absolutely wonderful, thank you. Next week, the Rotary meeting, May the 22nd, we are going to welcome Frank Knott of the Mosaic Quarter. There we go, CEO of the Mosaic Quarter. So we look forward to seeing that. And toast and adjourn, I did have a Jeff Ronstadt, but I gather it's the alternative. It's clone, avatar.
This is from Jeff. Everyone ready? Glasses up. I can't hold 3 things, so I'm only doing 2. To the United States and its people, whose democratic beliefs we share, whose rights and liberties we enjoy, and whose laws hopefully, we obey. Cheers.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very, very much, everybody. An enjoyable meeting indeed.
That was a nice way to reframe it. Adds up to 85. I like that. Oh, 15. Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure which way it was going to go, 87 or 78.